Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck finding this unless you know what to search for. There have been several passengers that have been put under quarantine after flight 1397 was held on the tarmac. Passengers, 226 passengers, were held on the tarmac for over an hour. Finally, 6 of those passengers were put into quarantine. No information since then that I've been able to find out. And these passengers, let me show this with you real quick. Passengers on a Frontier flight were stuck on a plane in Tampa for more than an hour on New Year's Day after several people on board reported feeling sick, 6 of 266. Now, once again, this is Flight 1397 that went from Cleveland to Tampa, and you can read all about it. Tampa Bay Times. You can go to NBC News, Fox 8. This article that I have is a local article from WFLA.com. A spokesman from the airport in Cleveland tells News Channel 8 there's a possibility that the illness was connected to a drinking fountain. They have shut down the drinking fountains in the Frontier concourse at the airport just to be safe. So the official story, ladies and gentlemen, is a drinking fountain. Very interesting. I find that quite peculiar. I would like to let you know this podcast is brought to you in part by virtualshield.com/leak project. Some of the best specials of the year right now. A VPN is a virtual private network designed to keep your information safe and anonymous when you surf the web. If you want news and information that isn't handpicked by AI algorithms, you should definitely check this out. It's fascinating. I've even seen reports of your phone being able to predict within a 90-something% accuracy rating within 7 days where you're going to go, just based upon you taking your phone with you. Imagine what all that other information says about you, where you're going, what you're doing, what you're thinking. Maybe they could make a sim about you that could be used in the future, like the X-Files. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, but you should check out those specials, virtualshield.com/leak project. So a spokesman from the airport in Cleveland tells News Channel 8 that it's possibly a news fountain. Not a news fountain, a drinking fountain. Nanny. What do you think about that? Do you think it was a drinking fountain? And if so, if only 6 people from this drinking fountain got sick, what was in the water? Is this some type of terrorist situation? Somebody putting poison in the water? Was it just too much fluoride? Was there some kind of bacteria? What if it's like Ebola and they're using this as a cover story? I mean, these are just questions that I'm asking. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've never heard about a drinking fountain causing a plane to be put under quarantine and people to be puking on the flight. Very bizarre. The passengers were said, hold on a second. There we go, yeah. The passengers were said to be vomiting by the time the plane landed, according to reports. Water fountains at the Cleveland airport may have been the cause. Officials say at least 6 passengers fell ill on a Frontier Airlines flight from Cleveland to Tampa. You can read all about it once again right there. I think that's very, very peculiar. Now, this is directly from the hisc.rsoe.hu alert map system. I love this website, one of my favorite websites to get up-to-date information on current events and emergencies. 6 people have been sickened on a flight from Cleveland to Tampa. So let me ask you this. If it is from this water fountain, if a water fountain caused these 6 people to get sick, what about all the other people that drink from that fountain? What would cause that to happen? Are there any medical professionals that can leave some information, a medical opinion on this? Vomiting from tap water must be some pretty bad stuff. And the amount of time that it took. Now, here's what they're not telling us. First of all, they say that these passengers aren't related. Okay, but where did they come from? Like, where were they traveling from? Where did they travel from, I should say? Where are they now? What are their conditions like? Where are they in a quarantine that nobody can get into unless they have a hazmat suit on? What is it? I mean, it's the stuff they don't tell you. They just give a little few tidbits of information, and it's like they have to give that information because there were so many people on the flight, 266 people according to the article, where they're probably tweeting about it and talking about it on their Facebook. So control the narrative. Oh yeah, those 6 people that got sick, it was just a drinking fountain, so we shut it down. Now, hey, that could be the case. Let's hope that everybody's going to be okay. Let's hope it's something as simple as a drinking fountain. Yet my question is, if it is the drinking fountain, once again, what was in the water? Was that natural, or did somebody put something in the water? Is this a terrorist attack? And if it is, who's the culprit? Are they going to tell us? Or is this a part of an ongoing case, so they use that as the story? Now, I can certainly understand if things need to be kept quiet in the media so that the law enforcement personnel can capture the person causing these events, if it is an event. I totally get that. And if it's something that could save a lot of people by telling the public, hey, you know what? There could be a biological situation, so take extra precautions. If that could save people's lives, don't you think they should bring that information out? The question is, if it is a biological event, if it is a terrorist attack, and they can't control the narrative on it, would it cause more problems by releasing that information to the public? Would people freak out? I mean, just think about how much people freak out when they come up with the swine flu media scare, or the donkey flu, or the unicorn flu, or the caterpillar flu, the mummified caterpillar flu. Every flu, every epidemic, of course, they've got a solution, or they're working on an experimental vaccine to save the people as best as they can, to help save the people as best as they can in their projections via media, public relations, in my opinion. I mean, let's go back to the swine flu scare back in 2008 time. I was working at a Fortune 100 company, and the media is pushing fear, fear, fear. And I'm thinking, why aren't they closing down all airports? Why aren't they closing down schools? I was talking to my friend George from Moldova, which is close to Russia. And, you know, growing up in the Soviet Union, being in the military, working in Siberia, this guy's a badass. And he's also a very kind soul. He'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. Even if he needed it, he'd hook you up. He's that kind of guy. I'm like, George, what would they do in Russia if the swine flu was being spread? And he's like, they'd shut everything down for a while, for a week or two, and then they'd start back up. And I'm like, yeah, why don't they do that here? And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's not as big of a deal as the media is projecting it to be. Maybe there's some things going on behind the scenes that are giving certain people opportunities by pushing this swine flu scenario. You know, throwing in little bits and pieces of truth with a lot of neurolinguistic programming, hype, you know, controlling the mind to think a certain way and have a certain fear factor. And I'm bringing all this up because I can remember back then, even myself going out and buying a bunch of dust masks, the N95 respiratory masks, even went out and got some gas masks. And then several years later, talking to my father-in-law before he passed, bless his soul, one of the most amazing people to ever walk the face of the earth. Very kind man, very kind. And if you ever met him, you would probably say the same thing. Well, I remember he's like, Rex, what are these, because he studied NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical, in the Army and different scenarios. And he's like, Rex, if it ever gets that bad that you need to put on a gas mask, you're going to need a whole lot more than a gas mask. Let's just put it that way. And it really sank in after a while, thinking about if you're at that situation where you need a gas mask, I mean, there's stuff around you that you've got to have something to protect your lungs. Well, don't you think you're going to need something for your skin as well? Probably. And then how are you going to clean that up after the fact? And then what caused that situation? I mean, I definitely say it's better to be prepared than scared. I've got the stuff. I mean, I've been preparing off and on now for years. It's good to be prepared. However, sometimes you can miss the little things, including myself. Many times have I missed the little things. So you prepare for the big things, but then all these other variables that you need to be prepared for as well and know what you're doing, you might miss out on. So just things to think about. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. And I am listening to some music right now to avoid the AI algorithms reading my mind and then taking my EEG brainwaves, re-uploading that on a computer screen, showing what I am seeing to the Borg so they can then take that, mirror it, and use it for their glorification of assimilation. No, I'm just joking. I'm just listening to some really cool music right now. Hello! You gotta see me jam out one of these days. You can make fun of me even more. Hello, be the change you want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. And definitely check out that special at virtualshield.com/leak project. No. Happy New Year.